Hi everyone, welcome back to the Spotlight. We're going to get into what was an absolutely catastrophic day at the office for Man United at the Etihad yesterday. A 4-1 defeat, as we all know. I mean, what can you say? The first half, it was end to end. We're in the game a little bit. I'll go into the goals in a minute. I'll just talk about our goal to start with. It was actually a really good move, our goal. If you watch it from the start to the finish, we broke quick, crisp passing we're in, and a bit of quality by Sancho at the end. It's a pity that kind of play cannot happen more often in the Man United shirts. If you isolate that moment, it was a very good moment. But I think that's where the positivity is going to end in this video, unfortunately. Because I'm going to discuss the goals because I've watched the game, I've watched the highlights a few times, and the goals they concede at the back are just horrific. The defending is absolutely atrocious. I'm afraid I've said it enough times, not on here, but to all my mates and everything as well, that Harry Maguire is a joke. Honestly, what is he doing? And the price tag is not on Maguire. 80 million, the club was stupid enough to pay for him. But it doesn't take away the fact that he's just not good enough, is he? So we'll get into the first goal. The first goal, they get down the left-hand side, there's three players. Three players around. Is it Grealish who crosses it? Somehow he gets in behind all three of them, pulls it back. I don't think Telles is expecting the cross to even come in with them three players around him, and he's on his heels. He can't get out to De Bruyne, and he smashes it in. You think, here we go. 5 minutes in, it's going to get worse. And I say we scored a decent goal. From there, Sancho had another chance. But then the second goal is an absolute catalogue of errors. And everyone's thinking about the point where Harry Maguire lets it come back through his legs off the deflection from De Gea's save. Can I ask anyone who's ever played football in their entire lives? You're facing your own touchline. Your keeper's just made a save. Do you allow that deflection to go back into your own penalty box, or do you just let it hit you or clear it for a corner? What is he thinking? Oh, I'll let it go through my legs in my own box. And then they just smack it in. I mean, what is he doing? But just before that, some blame has to be put on Elanga for that goal. He tries to dink it out from the right back position, hits it straight into one of the City players' heads, and it comes back. From there, we're all over the place. Foden, a bit of skill, does Lindelof all over, who's dived in for it. So you've got a Elanga error. Lindelof should have just stood up. He's going in for an header he's never going to win. De Gea makes a save. Maguire, instead of clearing it, lets it run through his legs like he's dummying it to De Bruyne. And they smash it in the net. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Honestly, it's Sunday League defending. Even a Sunday League player wouldn't let that ball run through the legs. Not even a bloody 5-year-old kid would. What is he doing? And he's the captain of this club. And I think people forget this, right? Oh, he's not that bad. He's all right, Harry. You know, he's not a bad defender. He's Man United captain. He's a joke. An absolute catastrophe. He's a massive flop. He's a huge flop. I would put him up there. We all say Sanchez was a flop. Paid 20-odd million quid, 500 grand a week, whatever it was. Flop. He was horrendous. Disgrace, Sanchez. He's Harry Maguire, and Harry Maguire whatever you think about him, his attitude, his leadership, the fact is with Maguire, he's probably all right. The problem is he's just not good enough. And that not only goes for him, it goes for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, £50 million. Are you mad? There's some stats saying we'd scouted 800 right backs before we settled on 50 million for Wan-Bissaka. Who's scouting at this club? Honestly, tell me, who is it? It's absolutely insane. Ridiculous. Anyway, I'm talking about goals here, so we'll get on to the third one. Cross comes in, corner. Mahrez stood at the edge of the area on his own. Just knocks it in off Maguire. Not a lot Maguire can do about the deflection, but I'll tell you what he could have done. He's the captain, he's the main centre-back. He stood at that back post in their own 6-yard box holding hands with Wan-Bissaka. If Wan-Bissaka is told by Maguire, or even has a brain of his own, which he hasn't got defensively, Wan-Bissaka is a one-on-one tackler. He's not a defender. His positional sense is atrocious. His ball skills are terrible. All right, he's got a decent recovery tackling him. And sometimes he can put players out of game one-on-one, which he didn't do today. He had a stinker. I'd put this third goal on Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka's lack of communication. Because Maguire's doing his job that he's probably told to in coaching, zonal, win the header. He's holding hands with him, Wan-Bissaka, at the back post. If he's out 5 yards, even 5 yards, he doesn't have to be anywhere near Mahrez. Just 5 yards further out, that can't happen. By the time the ball's dropped to Mahrez, he's on it. It's poor communication, poor defensive setup, the third goal. And the fourth goal, everyone's talking about David De Gea's distribution. Well, if you watch this one back, he spoons his kick into midfield. Okay, he did something. He hurt himself, but he still spooned the kick into midfield. It drops right on Fred, I think, who's then surrounded by 2 City players. No one backing him up. He loses the ball. And then Mahrez makes a run where Telles, if you watch Telles, he goes with the run. And then he realises the rest of the back line have stayed in line and he's already gone too deep. So he tries to stop with the line, but he's already gone. And that plays Mahrez onside. That's on Telles. He's either got to look across his line and stay there, or he's just got to go with Mahrez. And he doesn't do either. And Mahrez smashes it off De Gea's face into the net. So, I mean, I'm sat here, a bloody Sunday League player, and I watch that. The defending is catastrophic. If I was doing that on a Sunday morning, I'd expect to get a bollocking for it. It's a disgrace. Absolutely disgraceful. It's ridiculous. Honestly, I can't get over how bad the defending is at that club at the minute. And Lindelof, he's back next to Maguire. He looks shite again. But whose fault is that, Lindelof's or Maguire's? Because when he plays with Varane, he looks like a different player. Today, next to Maguire, he looked awful. But out of that back four, Lindelof's the only one I'd keep. Telles, all right, maybe for a backup cup games. Sure. His contract's up. Let him go. 8 years. He's had a good season, as I've said before. Get rid of him. Maguire, the club will never sell him. £80 million, captain, centre-back. We've got so many other problems in that team. There's no way Man United will sell Maguire. But if we had a strong manager come in or a board who wanted to win anything, he'd be gone. Even if they sold him for 30 million, they'd take the loss and get rid of him. Wan-Bissaka, get rid of him. Take 15, 20 million for him. Get him out the door and just play Dalot. and bring Laird back or something, or spend that 20 million quid on Lamptey or someone to bring up. They're absolutely awful anyway. Never mind going into the second half once that third goal had gone in. We've all heard about it, that attitude. The walking around the pitch. I mean, we took Pogba. I'm not sure why we took Pogba off. Yeah, and I know Pogba can go missing in games. He's this, that, the other. We all hate Pogba. We all love Pogba. I'm not going to get into that now. But we took him off and we brought Rashford and Lingard on. Lingard don't want to be at the club. Why is Lingard getting any minutes at all in this team? Someone tell me, I've got no idea. And as for Marcus Rashford, at the minute he's playing for his career at Man United. It's a Manchester derby, yes, the 3-1 down, but he's been brought on with how long to go? 20 minutes to go, something. I'm not sure how long was left. He's barely even ran. Honestly, it's horrendous. Watch, if it highlights the difference. Forget the technical ability. Just the difference in work rate is unbelievable between these two teams. Match of the Day actually showed it off really well last night. That after Rashford and Lingard come on, the City defence have 5 minutes on the ball, or they get the ball, they run 5 yards, Rashford will go to close them down, but then they get a couple of yards away from him and he stops and just lets the next man deal with it. That then drags the next man out and they just play it round him. And it happened time after time. Half-hearted pressing. Half-hearted, it's not even pressing, it's chasing the ball, it's desire to win the ball back. And they show clips of the City 3-1 up, coasting, 90% possession or whatever it is. And every time they lost the ball, there's one clip of, I think, Foden in our area. We've got the ball at the halfway line. Foden sprints back at 3-1 up when they're dominating and surrounds whoever it was who had the ball and wins the ball back. And it happens time after time after time. They do not have either the fitness, that attitude, or the desire to want to win that ball back. Forget the talent. City are a better team. You expect them to win. But there's nothing there. They don't go as a team. It's always individual. City defend as a team. Guardiola said it in his post-match. And this was a dig at Man United, I think, that no one else has mentioned. But Pep Guardiola said, we take pride more than anything in winning the ball back. I can guarantee you now, the first thing that Pep went into City and does, or any new player that goes in there, is he instills that drive, that work rate into him, that desire, that thing you have in non-league unprofessional football. We said, you've got 8 seconds to get the ball back. That's something that Guardiola probably really does instill in his players. If they're not doing it, they don't play. And the problem with Man United over the last 3 years or so is that underperforming players have always played and become comfortable. And this is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his favourites FC. And Rangnick is doing the same to some extent. Maguire, McTominay, Fred, Rashford, all players. Wan-Bissaka was in that under Ole. Shaw. It's already shown this season with Rangnick making some changes that Tellez can do a job. Yeah, he was poor yesterday, but he's been okay. Dalot, what's happened to Dalot? Played 5-10 games or something, looked like a decent right back. All of a sudden, he can't get a frigging game for Wan-Bissaka again. Don't know what's going on. But you've got people who've left, Donny, Martial, much more technical players. And people question Martial's work rate, but at least he keeps the ball and he keeps the ball moving. And going on to talking about keeping the ball moving and keeping possession, Scott McTominay's interview post-match yesterday, which I thought was a very good interview by Scott, to be fair. It's a pity he can't back the performance up on the pitch. And it went somewhat along the lines of he was asked about the desire of the team and the manner of the loss and the attitude once they went 3-1 down. And McTominay says, he basically said, no one can say that about me. I'll always put 100% in. But he actually went back and he said something along the lines of, I'll go back and watch the videos and watch other players' body language. So McTominay, I don't think there's any doubt that McTominay's got the club's best interest at heart and he tries his best. The fact is he's just not good enough, and that's just the way it is. Personally, I don't know what you think about this, but I'd rather McTominay was captain than Maguire. At least McTominay comes out and he's honest in interviews. He says it how it is. He clearly does love the club and want the best for the club. But then he goes on to say things about the players who are playing further forward, that we need to keep possession more around their box, which is absolute. I've been saying it for 2-3 years now. As a possession-based team, we are terrible. Either they're not being coached properly to do it, or the players that are doing it, i.e., I'm sure he probably means Fernandes, Rashford, Pogba to some extent, they're not doing it. But you've also got to have a look at yourself from McTominay. He's extremely poor at receiving the ball off the back four, taking it on the turn, getting the ball into him quickly. And he has to become part of keeping the ball around their area. If you watch the good teams who do it, City, Liverpool, their defence is as high as McTominay is when they're playing around the edge of the area. And yeah, I get that he's probably always concerned about the turnover and he's got to get back because we can't do it. And he's got a very good point. But he was poor yesterday, McTominay. In fact, he was terrible. He was as bad as any of them. And Maguire, in his post-match interview, also talked about the forward players needing to keep hold of the ball more. How can Harry Maguire blame the forwards again? He was blaming Ronaldo and that lot against Watford, was it, when we drew 0-0? At least on that day, he kept a clean sheet. I think it was Watford anyway. One of the games he played and we missed that full. Blaming the forwards for not scoring. He's a Man United captain. When is he going to take some responsibility himself? I mean, today, I'd definitely lay blame with two of the goals on him. The one where he lets go back through his legs, dumbing it into the middle, and the one at the back post for Mahrez. He's got to be organising that defence, and he ain't. How about have a look at yourself, Harry, before you're blaming others? We're never going to have a lot of the ball in their half. We're not. What's he think this game is? We can go toe-to-toe with City and keep possession. We can't keep possession against Burnley, Brighton, Watford. How are we going to do it against City? Is he watching a different game to the rest of us? He's an absolute idiot. I don't want to I like calling him out, but when is he going to take some responsibility for his own actions in that team as a captain of the club? Like, it's just absolutely unbelievable what comes out of his mouth. I can't believe they put him in front of cameras. It's ridiculous. Honestly, unbelievable. And anyway, yeah. Just get on to City. Some stupid statistics in the second half. What was it? Ending up 70-30 possession or something? Or was it 80 or 79-29 or something like that? The last 15 minutes, you had something like 97% possession. 97% possession. Wow. And it just shows, as I explained earlier, the work rate, the desire, the technical ability. That it's just way, way beyond. It's way beyond anything Man United can dream of at the minute. Absolutely, we're miles off. I mean, we won't finish in the top 4. So, Arsenal have got a couple of hard games coming up. We've got one out of the way and got hammered. But really, it's Arsenal's to lose top 4. If we get top 4 now, the club has bailed themselves out of an absolute hole. I'll just go on to the summer and what I think about Rangnick and managers and that as a quick. Rangnick, in my personal opinion, he's done an all right job since he's come in. I think I'd rather keep Rangnick than Poch. Do I think Rangnick's a long-term manager? No. I think he's still... I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Rangnick, because he clearly come in and he had the results in November, December, got to January, cleared out people we're not using. And Rangnick's still like, you can keep me in eye for the job and all this lot. And it would be interesting to see what Rangnick would do with a summer budget where he could buy the players he wants. But you've got to hope. I mean, Arnold and Murta are now in charge where Woodward was. They've talked about how they're going to get football people in to do the football business. Do I trust them? Not really. Do I trust them more than Woodward? Probably, but time will only tell. I think Rangnick's going to have been in that dressing room for 6 months. They've got to give him the job upstairs. And he'll can go and speak some proper home truths to Murta and Arnold about what that dressing room is like and who needs to be cleaned out. And the reality is there could be... the whole squad could go. Cavani's definitely off. Lingard will definitely go. I'd be extremely surprised if Martial come back. Whether Seville want him or not, he'll go somewhere else. Who else is the Pogba? Gone. He ain't staying at Man United. He'll go back Juve, PSG, anywhere. Madrid. He'll probably even take a pay cut to leave. Why would Pogba stay now? He's been out injured for God knows how long. Come back. Been one of our best players since he come back, and he gets hooked off at 60 minutes every time for bloody Fred or someone. Ridiculous. Who else we got? So that's them 4. Donny van der Beek. I think there's potential Van der Beek could come back, depending on who your manager is. You surely got to use Van der Beek. If it's Ten Hag, I think he'll definitely come back. I think Poch should probably want him as well. Ralph sent him out on loan, but was it really Ralph's choice? I think Donny had probably made his mind up that he wants to play footy so he can get in the Holland team. He'll probably be back in the summer, and I hope he gets given a go. Who else we got? So then there's other people. There's Mata, Matic, Jones. Them 3 need to be gone. They're all old, past it, done. Bailly. If you was Eric Bailly, you'd be gone. Under Ollie again, promised game time, got a new contract. Plays well when he plays, then he's binned off for the next game. He's gone. That's 9 or 10 players there, and I've probably missed a couple. And that's players you could easily get rid of or need to leave. That's without going through the first team squad. In reality, you could get rid of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, like I've said. You could get rid of Maguire, Shaw, McTominay and Fred. If you're being harsh, you'd get rid of them both. I'd probably keep one of them, but you could get rid of them both. Rashford's been out today saying he's got a year left on his contract. He's keeping his options open or whatever. Get rid of him. Honestly. Do you think a ruthless club would keep Marcus Rashford and his current form and work rate and attitude in that team? Yeah, he's come up through the youth. He's a massive part of Man United socially. He does great work around Manchester but honestly, forget what he does off the pitch. At this moment in time, if someone was going to pay 60 plus million for Rashford, he's probably on 200-300 grand a week. Take it. What would you be scared of Rashford? If Rashford went and played for, he wouldn't get in City in at Liverpool's team. So I don't know. Say he went to Chelsea or someone round there, or miraculously a team round us got him. Say, would you be scared of Marcus Rashford coming and playing against Man United? Well, it depends if Maguire's playing with his pace, but honestly, do you think if he went abroad, say he went to play for Atletico or something, and he was coming back to Old Trafford, do you honestly think we'd be scared of Marcus Rashford coming back? He's a pace merchant. When we played under Solskjaer with an extremely deep line and played that ball over the top, he had his moments. In this progressive style Rangnick wants to play further up the pitch, pressing, you're going to have the other team sat in front of you a lot more. I'm afraid his footballing technicality is not good enough. He'd be a brilliant signing for Leicester as a replacement for Vardy. That's where Rashford's going to be good. Deep lying team, ball over the top, in behind Vardy style. That's where Rashford works. In a progressive possession-based team, no. So, I mean, that's 5 or 6 of the first team you could get rid of. And that's not including De Gea, who there's loads of Man United players who don't like it, fans who don't like him either. And that's without talking about Ronaldo, who is probably 50-50 whether he'd stay if we get in the Europa League. So, we're miles off. There's a massive job to be done. It'll be interesting in the summer what Rangnick can get sorted out, but I really do think the club will be hoping for Poch. Arnold and Murta and co are probably begging for Madrid to turn that Champions League game round and get Poch sacked so we can just snap him up for free before the end of the season, and here we go again for 3 years with another yes man to the board. The only hope Man United have got is that Murta and Arnold are going to relinquish the footballing decisions to Rangnick when he goes upstairs. If that doesn't happen, nothing will change while the Glazers and them two are running this club. And that's what you've got to remember. You can blame the players are the players. Yeah, their attitude, whatever. The fact is they're not good enough and they're overpaid. They're probably going out and then doing all they can. The fact is they're just not that good. The manager, we've gone through 4 managers, is it now, since Fergie? Jose, everyone wanted him out. Won trophies, taught reality when he left. Van Gaal did the same. It's 5 managers, isn't it, including Rangnick? Van Gaal said the same, got no control. Ollie's never going to say anything bad about the club, but I bet if he could speak the truth, he knows his hands were probably tied behind his back and he's buying people on the board, say. Rangnick's done a lot of good, but I don't think he's still got the power. And from what he's saying, it seems like he's not in contact with them lot upstairs. Seems like the end of the season will come, we'll get a new manager and they'll shift another role around for Rangnick. But anyway, I'm going to leave that there. The rant is over. 4-1 City. Do me some favours if you've gone this far, listen to me. Hit the like, favourite, subscribe. And all that stuff. And yeah. Are we on midweek versus Atletico Madrid? I don't know if we're on this week or next week. We probably are. So I'll probably see you for that. Which could be another catastrophic night at Old Trafford if they carry on playing the way they were in this one. So yeah, peace out people, and I'll see you on the next one.